Right. Okay, let's see if this starts us off. It might, it mightn't. It looks like we're going for it might. Good, right. So I'm assuming this is going to start, and we're going to have begun, and it's going to be brilliant. Yes? Yes. Hello. Hello, everyone. Bonjour to you. And your all so different and varying lives. Hello to them all. Interesting bit of a phrase. Don't know what I was doing there, but there we go. You know, who knows? Bonjour to you. Bonjour to you all. Cheers. And it's been a while again, hasn't it? Although not as much of a while, because I successfully managed to get a video done for you on last weekend, didn't I? I think that was like last week, wasn't it? Oh, I just opened my wine. I've just got a massive waft of that. That was quite nice, actually. It's actually wine from the last time I was streaming, so actually probably more accurately described as vinegar. In any case, hello, and this time I guess it's only been a week, so that's good. And hopefully, depending on how well I organise my time, there should be another video relatively soon. Who knows, though? Who knows what it will be, how it will be, or even who it will be, because there doesn't seem to be much new on here or anything I can continue with, unless it's like the uncannies and all of that. I feel like while people arrive, if more people are planning to arrive, I'm just going to have a look at Cat Day, because we've done this before. I don't remember it very well, but it seems to be one thing, but it's definitely one thing, and there's not much to it, so... A bit vinegary, not too bad. It's that 5-year celebration stuff, fair enough. Yeah, that'll do. I won't do it in any particularly massively efficient way, just put a few things out, here we go, you know, here and there and everywhere and all that. So that is the aim. I've managed to come back a little bit earlier so I can speak to you in a normal voice instead of it being late at night, so I hope you appreciate that. That's more like cat food or whatever got, which is brilliant. I should probably see to my Gamatoto. He hasn't been seen to in like, well, a long time. I don't know how long a time it was. Must have been a very, very long time, to be fair. But let's see to it that he is sent off on his destinationing to wherever he goeth. And now, Heavenleaf Tower. Very exciting. We're going to see how far through it we can go today until either I get really bored or I have to be quiet or any number of those things. It's going to be exciting or like offended by the chat, or it could be multiple things that stopped the stream. Reggie, have you watched JoJo LMAO XD? Haha. No, but actually, in sort of answer to that question, I have watched the opening to another anime, and what might be a fun game is to guess which one it is. Let's do that while we're coursing through my favourite bit of Heavenly Tower, which is of course the easy mindless bit. I like it very much. I don't know if you could call it watching an anime, because I've only watched one episode of it. Let's call it watching an anime opening. It is not Death Note. I have already seen the opening to One Punch Man. The other suggestion I have not actually heard of. So, like, definitely not that one. No. Oh, that's what MHA is. No, not My Hero Academia. No. Naruto. Haha. Gotcha. OMG Hi. Dragon Ball Super. No Dragon Ball. No. I mean, you can't really say I've started watching Evangelion, really, can you? That's like my so Zan koku na tenshi no yono ni sonen yu no shino ni nare. I think. I don't know, I haven't got the words up. Anyway, no. I mean, obviously I've seen it before because I keep talking about it. No, none of those. Not Death Note again. I mean, somebody might have said it, but so far, I'm surprised we haven't got it. But at least it's an interestingly, decently going game. Seven Deadly Sins, no. Tokyo Ghoul, no. Right, the correct answer has been said. Now let's see if we can get everyone around the consensus of the correct answer, just to expand my game slightly, in case there's nothing else to talk about afterwards. Do 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 do. It's been said correctly again, but there's also been a few incorrect consensi. Yeah. No. 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 No, yes. No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No. No, it's not. It's definitely not. I haven't even heard of that one. Will you be using energy leaderships this stream? Hello, McWoof. Yes, probably. Unless I get really bored, like before my energies run out the first time. No, you're completely right, actually. Saying no and yes is not helping because, of course, it won't match up with the chat correctly unless it's the archive. So, actually, you're completely right about that. Which I guess made the game even more interesting and fun. Alright, it's Attack on Titan. So, yeah, got shown the first episode of it. I was like, well, I was going to actually start watching that. Well, we might as well have a watch of the first episode of it. This, I'm talking in a university context. When you're wondering, like, but you live alone, you have no friends. Well, that is also true, but, you know, sometimes I'm living with people as well. And, well, I've been introduced to a whole host of programs. Let's just put it that way. Some good, some less favourable. That could be like a whole topic to video, the amount of different programs I've been introduced to. Loads of different stuff. Anyway, it was Attack on Titan. And what I thought of it was that some of it, I say some of it, the first episode was all I watched. Some of it was really good. But some of it was really bad. And what I mean by that is that the whole thing, I did not like the animation style of it. What it felt like to me was someone had got a camera and filmed the pages of a manga, right? It barely ever moved, and I can understand the motivation for not having much movement in your anime creation. It takes a long time to animate movement. But there was so little movement that it just felt like comic book pages, and so it didn't flow like an actual proper narrative piece. But the narrative that there was, when people were actually speaking to each other, I really liked the dialogue between them. So basically, there were bits I enjoyed of it, but I'm not sure I'd continue with it because I just don't like the style in which it's made. I mean, at risk of being hypocritical coming from a very deliberately lazy person sometimes, or I like to call it efficientizing, but that is basically laziness, it feels like it's lazily made in terms of how much movement there is in it. It just doesn't feel like an anime. It's a manga that moves occasionally, right? Is my point of view on it. And if that's efficiency measures, I can understand it. I still don't like it very much though. If it's a style choice, I don't think it's a very good style choice. But that's my point of view on it. Hey Reggae, how are you doing? I'm mixed, but alright. Alright enough to be streaming and talking to you all and having my vinegar, so that's alright really. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I am quite surprised. I thought more people would sort of be up in arms and like incredibly angry at me for criticising Attack on Titan somewhat, but it doesn't seem to have happened. It changes over seasons. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that actually, because that's the same of Line of Duty, a very brilliant BBC TV series, which is just brilliant. The first series has a lot of what are called crash zooms in them. Think of a zoom where you zoom into someone's face. Well, think of that from a really long way away and really quickly. That's a crash zoom. And there's plenty of that, and it feels amateurish and a little bit silly. But then as you go along the series, well, by series 2, they pretty much get rid of it. And then it actually looks like a polished, finished product. And therefore, the visual medium of it, as well as the narrative medium of it, are then both really good. Maybe that is what will happen with Attack on Titan. Maybe when I have nothing else to be watching, I might go back to it. But I think there'll be plenty of other stuff to be looking at, not least the things that I actually need to look at for my course, some of which I have not yet seen. But yeah, I can understand that. Have you read a nice book? Most of the reading that I have been... Oh, let's try this. Yes! Most of the reading that I've been doing lately is academic stuff. Readings that we've been given to read and make notes on and understand as fantastic things that tell us about useful things for the course and things that we're looking at. And actually, some of it is really interesting. Some of it is just an absolute load of garble. And I mean, I just write in my notes that it's a load of garble, because it is. And I'm unhappy at that fact. But some of the things are actually really interesting and really well written. And that's the reading that I'm doing at the moment. I did actually get a brief opportunity to read one chapter of Mockingjay, so I'm still going with that, still going with my Hunger Games reading. I made it. Whenever I say reading now, I just think of the academic reading, but not all reading is that. Anyway, also reading the student newspaper, because it tells you useful things about what's going on in the university, and it's free, so there's that. I assumed everyone was accustomed to why the screen might go white, but I will happily explain it, because I like simple things. We all do. Well, I don't know that, but I like simple things anyway. I was obscuring... Wrong thing. Oh dear. I think I've killed... No? Okay, it's alright. I was obscuring the ad for energy, because I don't need to give it free press beyond it being seen by me. So we've done that with our VPN and got some more energy. So that's fantastic, really. Let's switch back to slot 3. Actually, let's investigate. Is it possible to easily do floor 12? No, floor 14 is the metal one, so I might as well not. I think. God, I don't know why I'm forgetting this. Oh, it's mate! Hello, mate. Fancy that mate's about. That's pretty cracking, all said, actually. How old are you? Ages. Absolutely loads, to be fair. How have you been doing, mate? You been alright? Your studies been treating you well, as it were? I mean, not as it were, I mean as it is. That's my question, I guess. How 145 treasure radars? Because I don't often have cause to spend them, to be fair. It's been good, mate. That's good, mate. I don't know. Give an example of a topic you've been learning about recently, mate, or a topic you found interesting recently. Can we call on Discord? That's a good question, mate. Might be a little bit difficult for the reason that no one will be able to hear you. Yeah, that is the issue with that. Although, I guess what I could do is try my very best to get you up on my phone. And then put my phone next to my microphone, and then that way, what we've got... Well, was Bun Bun there before? And then people will be able to hear you. Right. Ah. No, right. Hello, mate? Oh, excellent. Hello, mate. I'm okay, thank you, mate. How are you doing? Now, I will apologise to the audience now. You probably won't be able to hear mate, but there's very little I can actually do about that beyond, like, holding mate directly next to the microphone. You're next to the microphone on the desk, mate, is the best I can do at the moment, but... and on maximum volume, but I doubt anyone will actually be able to hear you. Oh. Well, that's a little bit spooky. Right, what's that done? Wait, can you speak again, please, mate?
Hello, mate.
Oh, that's louder. Excellent. Right, people might be able to hear you now.
Awesome.
So, mate, crikey. Yeah, I might as well ask that question that I was sort of, I guess, asking a few seconds ago.
Oh, yeah.
What's a sort of recent thing you've discovered, topic-wise, that you find interesting? Oh. Call failed. I don't know why. This is groundbreaking. Why has this happened? Hey? Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
Sorry, it just decided that the call had failed.
Okay.
Did you hear the question I was asking?
No, I didn't, mate. What was it?
What's the sort of topic? Well, actually, first, people don't all remember what course you're doing, so I guess that would be the first thing to tell everyone.
Doing maths.
He's doing maths, which, you know, is way beyond my skill set, and just quite extraordinary, really. What is a bit of maths that you have come across recently that you thought, oh, that's interesting? If you have.
Good question. Good question, mate. I don't know, probably something... Probably like, double integrals, mate.
Double integrals? I mean, luckily...
Yeah, no, triple integrals.
Luckily for me, mate, I never had to do single integrals, so could you let me know what a double integral is? Or
It's when you
everyone?
integrate twice. It's actually really simple.
Alright, mate. Well, if it's simple then, I imagine you would be able to explain it in a way that even I, who, as you know, does not have a great grasp of maths, might understand.
Yeah, okay, mate. So, basically, for just regular integration, if you imagine a graph of a function...
Oh, right, okay, I'll have to stop you there, mate. What does a graph of a function look like?
You know what? Hang on, mate. I'm going to try something.
It's quite exciting, everyone. Mate's trying something.
I'm trying this for the first time.
For the very first time?
Aha. Actually, this probably wouldn't be any good for the viewers. But I was thinking, mate.
Yeah.
What if I do a screen share and go into Paint?
Crikey. Yeah, I mean, that would be
To
useless
see that.
for the viewers, but I will have a look at it and I'll describe it as best I can.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. You're good at describing things, I'm good at not describing things.
Exactly, mate. I have what they call analytical skills, or a word that I can't say on stream without getting in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, okay. So, if you think, mate, right?
So mate's done an x-axis and a y-axis, some nice simple graph
well
stuff.
done, mate. I better put the label in, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very nice, mate.
Yeah, it's awesome. In fact, these lines should go a bit like that. Okay. Right, you got your function here.
So, mate, let me know if I'm wrong, but to me, that looks like what you've drawn is like a sine graph.
Well done, mate. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar, but it was supposed to just be any random graph.
Oh, right. So this might not be of any relevance, but to anyone who's listening in to me describing a visual graph and doesn't know what a sine graph is, it's basically a wavy line but sort of equal in its waves, and that's how sine works on a graph.
Sure.
It looks like a tilde. Yeah, that's actually, I think that was a smiley face someone was doing, but the tilde in the middle of it is what a sine graph looks like. So, yeah.
So imagine, mate.
Yeah.
You've got, you see this line here, right? So you've got two values, like, where these two... Wait, hang on a second. I did the x and the y the wrong way around.
Oh, dear.
I can't... Wow. That was quite something.
I'm going to put leadership on for the moment. See? Don't say I don't treat you guys. Look, leadership. And nice. I'm describing a graph to you, so it can't get much better.
Exactly. Okay, here we go. So you've got two x values, right?
Mm-hmm. So mate has drawn two lines upwards from the bottom line, the x-axis, to random points on the wavy line.
Yeah. And you see this green area, mate?
He's coloured it in green, which actually looking at it was quite extraordinary.
You want to find the area of this.
And he wants to find the area of it, which I will just chip in here is impossible for me, thinking about it from my point of view, because, well, I'm a GCSE pleb and hated it at that level because it's got a curved line, at which point you ignore trying to do an area and move on to the next question.
Okay, cool. So basically that's what...
It's like a rectangle, but someone's bitten a chunk out of it.
Yeah. So now, mate, that's just what a normal integral is, right?
So what do you mean by that, mate? Why is that an integral, and what does that really mean?
I mean, when you integrate this function, you get another function.
No, sorry, mate. Why have we integrated a function? Like
to
what?
Find the area.
No. Oh, sorry. I don't mean in terms of purpose. I mean, like, what was it we did that integrated the function?
Oh, you don't worry about that, mate. Lots of different things.
No, but as in, was it when you coloured it in? Was it when you drew the 2 points? Which of those things was the doing the integration?
When you change the function into another function. Because, for example, mate.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. If you have got this function, mate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a nice simple line. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a straight line, in case anyone's wondering. Mate's actually really good at drawing straight lines.
Well, it's paint, mate. You can just click on...
Oh, is it a straight line tool?
Yeah.
Oh, that's slightly less impressive. Oh well, it's still nice straight lines.
Okay. And then you've also got this graph, which is not very well drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll find, if you want to find, pick a colour, mate.
Orange, mate.
Okay. Hang on a second. Okay. If you want to find this orange area here,
Yeah.
the area of this triangle, I guess, in this case,
Okay.
then actually you'll find that it's the area here in this region under the graph of this function is actually the value of another function.
So what are we saying, mate? Are we saying that a function is just like a point on that graph?
Yeah, so basically...
Oh, right. Okay.
Oops. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
So, that's just normal integrals, mate.
I didn't realise that it corresponded that simply. All right, okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you, mate.
Pretty awesome, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, right. I don't know what I'm doing there. Okay. Now, mate, we need to think in 3 dimensions.
Oh, crikey.
Okay. So, you have, mate, X, Z, whoa, spooky.
Z? Oh, come on now, mate. That's going a bit
you
far.
can imagine this, mate, right? You can think of there being, like, right angles here.
Yeah, and
Like,
Z
that's
is
the right angle.
like stretching up into the sky.
That's the right angle. So this is like in 3D.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Okay. Now this is where it gets... So you can imagine this sort of rectangle here.
Right.
Right. It's like a rectangle. Now I'm going to use a fancy word here, mate.
Yeah.
I might have to explain it to you.
Yeah.
This rectangle is in the XY plane.
I've heard of that, mate, but I don't know what it is. Oh, no, hang on. Hang on. Let me give a guess at what it means.
Yep.
So it doesn't have any, like, height to it because it's just X and Y. Yeah.
Exactly, mate.
Oh, excellent. I got that. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
I'm afraid, mate, the viewership's gone down a huge amount.
Sorry, mate. You can do some more battle cats.
No, I am. That isn't even saving it. I just think people don't like me, mate. It's not you.
Fair enough. Cool. I'll give your stream a like to help you out.
Thanks, mate.
You're welcome. Right. Now this is the bit where I can't really draw what I want to draw. Not that I really know what I would want to draw. But you can imagine a function where you put in 2 values, X and Y,
Crikey.
and you get out your Z.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy. Or maybe not Z. Maybe not Z. But it would be... it would be f of xy. Wow.
So, mate, have we gone off on a tangent, or are we now at like a further point than
Yeah, we're now at a further point, which is past A level, mate.
That's past what? Sorry.
Past A level.
No. I don't mean in like academic terms, mate. I mean literally in terms of this lesson so far. And like, have we gone off a tangent from the first drawing you did, or have we gone beyond it in the process?
Oh, you can forget about the first drawing, mate.
Oh, crikey. Okay. Done.
So basically, you might have a function, basically for each x and each y, that gives you one value, f of xy, and you like find basically the volume of a, like, between just the xy plane and the graph that you got. So, I don't know. This is going to be hard to draw, but you might have just some kind of weird function like that or something. I don't know.
That's like a cube with a chunk eaten out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to find the area of that.
So it's like finding the area of like slices of cake that people have been nibbling at.
Yeah. Quite, yeah. Oops.
See, who said maths doesn't have a practical application, mate?
Exactly. Yeah. So basically that's it, mate.
Right.
So that's what a double integral is. So you integrate with respect to x, and then you integrate with respect to y. It's pretty simple.
And what, integrating is just like finding the area of a wavy bit of graph?
Sure. I mean, it doesn't have to be wavy. It can be whatever.
What, so like I've like done integration but not known?
Well, no.
So what is it then, mate?
Well, I mean, it's only integration if you use integration. If you just use like a form, like...
Oh, could I interrupt you for a second, please, mate?
Yep.
There's been a donation. Now,
Okay, mate.
either it's Huskers with a different name or a different person with the same profile picture of Huskers. In any case, maybe if that could be confirmed, because I'm sort of doing a thing where I keep the same person's donation's name and then I can search it by their name and see what they've donated over time in my Super Chats folder where everyone is appreciated. But we've got £5, which is a very Huskers thing to do. So if it isn't Huskers, I apologise. £5 is cracking. I can't math, please stop. I can't maths, so we're in almost the same boat there, just with an S on the end for me. And I'm just trying to understand it because mate said it's simple. And if it's simple, someone who can't do maths will be able to understand it. And I feel like we're almost there, understanding what mate has to say. So, mate, my principal question here is that you've drawn those things, and I understand about your x and y plane, and I don't really understand about functions, but I get that like you're doing both x and y, so that's why it's f of x and y. What's that got to do with double integrals and what's an integral?
You do double integrals to find this volume.
Okay, what's an integral?
Finding the area. It's the opposite of differentiation, mate.
I didn't do that either, mate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mate.
I mean, you know I dropped it as soon as I could.
I'll teach you some more. Okay?
Okay.
Right. I'm going to try and draw a better graph than last time. Okay, here we go.
You should sell these off as prints, mate. They're quite good.
Bam. Okay. So, you see this graph, mate?
Yeah, I see it. A sort of like an exponential curve.
Yeah, it was supposed to. Yeah. You've got this line here, a tangent.
Oh, yeah, because tangent comes from the Latin tango, meaning I touch.
Nice, thanks, mate.
I mean, you did Latin as well. I wasn't really telling you, I was telling the audience, but...
Honestly, I'd completely forgotten that one.
In that sense, I at least know what a tangent is slightly.
Cool. Yeah.
Otherwise, mathematically, I really don't. But yeah, I see what you're doing there, mate. It's touching the graph in one location.
Yeah, so you can find the gradient of the tangent.
Uh-huh.
Which means you can find the gradient of this graph.
Mate, where you've drawn that triangle, it doesn't seem... I don't know why you've drawn it there, if you know what I mean.
It can be anywhere, mate. It's a straight line.
Oh, and... Oh, this is like dy over dx, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're really getting it, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah. You just find it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So differentiation will basically give you a formula for the gradient rather than having to draw a silly tangent and stuff.
So differentiation is just a way of doing what you've just shown me?
Yeah, but the cool bit is, mate,
Okay.
that if I draw... So the function gives you would be like that. But when you find the area under this, if I, well, I need, okay, here we go, we've got res, and we got a nice little, oh, I don't know, anyway, this red area here, mate,
Yeah.
that is actually the same, for like, if you've got like an x value, that's like the same as the value of this graph on the right here. The value of it, the y value of it.
So hang on, mate. Your red triangle what touches the graph at the tangent point or something, or have I just made that up?
I think you've made it up.
Oh right, okay, mate. So what's the significance of the red triangle then?
Basically, the area of it is that, I guess you can think of y value as like height, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got a point, so say this red point here, mate, if I want to find this distance here is the area of the red triangle here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. I see what you're representing now, mate.
And also, mate,
Yeah.
the gradient of this graph here
Yeah.
is the height here.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. The gradient of it is the height. I thought they're different sides, mate.
I mean, it's not to scale entirely.
No, but I thought that the gradient's like the hypotenuse, isn't it, mate? The longest side of the triangle.
Sure. Anyway.
So yeah, but really matter, why is it the height now? I don't understand, mate, to be honest.
That I should probably, perhaps I shouldn't be using a specific example. If I am using a specific example, I should probably be making it look a bit more accurate somehow. I don't know, but basically, and maybe drawing out two graphs is a bit weird and silly. But basically, mate.
Yeah.
You got y equals x squared. And you got y equals 2x. Okay. And the area of this
is y equals 2x the straight line, mate?
Yeah, it's that straight line there.
Okay.
And the area under it is x squared. So our x value is like there. Anyway, whatever. Forget that. And so that's the wait, no, what am I saying? Wait, why did I mention the area under there? Hang on, I don't know why I've coloured that in. Yes, I do. Wait. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I was getting a bit confused earlier, mate.
Alright.
It's fine. It's fine. You've got... Go forwards. Okay. This x squared here.
Yeah.
This gradient. I can't really type this. The gradient is 2x. There's like a relationship between the area of this one and the...
Sorry, mate, when you say this one, what are you pointing to?
The red one.
Okay.
And the area of this red one is the y value of this one on the right. And the y value of the the red one on the left is the gradient of the one on the right.
Why?
Because it's the inverse. When you integrate something and then differentiate it, you get the thing you had before back.
Yeah, okay, I get that. That's like adding and then taking away, because they're opposites.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sorry?
I can't say I understand all of that.
Fair enough.
So, hang on. So, the red triangle you've made is the area underneath the other thing?
No, the area underneath hang on. The area underneath the red triangle
Yeah.
is, you see that red dot there? On the other graph where the arrow is?
Yeah.
Like the length of the arrow, the height of it,
Yeah.
is the same as the area. Which,
Have you, like, plugged in figures from one into the other?
yeah, you've got...
All right. Okay, I'll take that then, mate. As long as there's a link between them, you've therefore differentiated it.
Yes.
That'll do.
Mate,
Okay.
why don't you tell me something interesting about what you're doing?
Oh, have I learnt everything about what you were doing, mate?
No, I mean, why don't you tell me something interesting about what you're learning about?
I will, mate. I've got something I can say, but I just so you showed me differentiation and what when you do that twice, you can work out the volume of a 3D plane thing.
Sure, integration twice.
What visually would the integration look like then? The opposite, what you would have worked out the lengths from the area rather than the area from the lengths or something like that.
No, integration is working out the area from the differentiation is
I
out.
wasn't being specific, mate. I wasn't expecting to get that right, but it's like that kind of opposite.
Sure.
Right, okay. You know what? I think that'll do, mate. You managed to like explain it in a way I roughly know what you're talking about, but what I have no hope to do. But that's most of maths for me, so thank you for that, mate.
You're welcome, mate.
Hello, I'm kind of new fan, but your voice helps me fall asleep, and so I just binge all your videos at night. Oh, that's nice. That's sweet. I've also got a chill playlist, which I think is really rather good. But I mean, I shouldn't recommend that to you because you listening to my videos at night is going to be more financially beneficial to me. Thank you for watching them as a sleep aid. You know, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, as I originally posited it being, but then realised good night is sort of like saying goodbye. And Heavenly Tower has not ended, so what are you on? Right. What have I been doing then, mate? Crikey. Okay, so one thing that we've been doing recently that I found really interesting was actually about editing, mate.
Oh.
Yeah. So you know a bit of editing. I mean, you've done some yourself when you had the rather fantastic Muddy Puddle channel.
Yeah.
You know, I really enjoyed watching those videos, mate. I wish you bring it back.
Do you? Okay.
That's a shutdown if ever I've heard it. Right. And in any case, there was some sort of, I guess, theory about editing, and it's some quite interesting stuff. So, you know Michael Bay, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what his films are sort of famous for, being a bit sort of manic, you know, little
Lots
bit
of explosions.
crash bang explosions. Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yep.
bear him in mind because I'm about to go on a, you'll like this, mate, tangent.
Okay.
Because it's the same as like tangent in maths. That's what I was going for. Anyway,
Okay.
so when something is sort of edited normally in a way like, I see, this thing follows after this thing, and this thing that I see now was something I kind of expected to see after seeing the thing before. You know, like, it makes sense, basically. That's continuity editing. And people pointed out that Michael Bay, actually, if you watch like a car chase scene that like Michael Bay has done, you'll kind of notice that when you put the shots together, the thing you see after one shot is not what you'd expect to see. It's something actually that happens slightly before that shot, or to a sort of jarringly slightly different location that sort of makes it a jump cut and that sort of thing. And that's what people would often call non-continuity, which is sort of, editing that sort of screws with your mind and you have no idea what's going on, and is highly unenjoyable from my point of view anyway.
Okay.
But there are some people who've come up with a different term for editing like this, of extremely fast-paced cuts that don't actually sort of link together very well, but you can tell what's happening in the scene at large, like in a car chase scene that Michael Bay's made. And they call it intensified continuity. And I thought that was really interesting. It's sort of using things that don't actually follow on from each other well at all to create something that does make sense as a kind of finished thing that does follow on in a way that makes sense.
Right.
So that was my little thing. Do you have any questions about that, mate?
Why does it make sense?
Why does it make sense? The problem is, mate, is that with subjects like this, that's up for debate because it's not like an actual thing that's true or not. So I'll try my best to give my view on why. Because it sort of goes back and forth so many times and so quickly that it's constantly referencing you to other parts of the environment. So you're basically, even though things don't follow on from each other very well, you're given a wide view of what's going on in the entirety of the scene, and everything follows a sort of movement that keeps going forward or in whatever direction, and isn't like skipping around with time and space in a way that what they call discontinuity might. So although things don't follow on from each other very well when you're cutting so quickly, overall it's still continuity, and they call that intensified continuity.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, thank you, mate. I always maintain that my stuff is a lot more simple than your stuff, because I could explain my stuff and people would understand it, and I do not have a clue what all this maths is, to be fair. You got any other questions about it?
No, mate.
There you go, you see? You've understood it. I'm still a bit... I'm not massively confused like I was with a lot of GCSE maths, weirdly. But,
I'm not really sure how I would... or how, someone would use... Yeah, that's my question, I guess, mate. How would someone go about making it make sense overall? Oh, you said, environment.
Yeah. So, the example that we saw was a scene from a series of movies apparently called Transformers. I don't know, I've never heard of it. Anyway. And there was some car chase scene. And so, for example, a lot of the shots followed a McLaren car around. And you'd have little jarring shots that didn't follow on from each other very well, but they'd sort of shoot eventually all the way around that McLaren car from back to front. Not as in the shots are back to front, but shots of the front, shots of the side, shots of the back, and sort of jutting around all sorts of bits of it, and then showing what it looks like off to one side, what it looks like off to other side. And then there'd be a shot from the front of it to, say, another car approaching at a crossroads, back to the McLaren, back to the car approaching at crossroads, by which point that car collides with something going in the same direction as the McLaren, which you understand because it's been sort of shown to you, even though it's in this sort of very quick, slightly disorientating way. It's overall, it showed the whole environment to you.
Right.
It's not necessarily seen as a good editing technique. I mean, Michael Bay is quite maligned, well, he's a bit rubbish, Especially if you're like a proper snooty film student. You absolutely despise Michael Bay, and if you don't, there's something wrong with you. I can't actually give an opinion on Michael Bay. I'm not sure I've ever seen a Michael Bay film. But in any case, that's the idea. I mean, you could just cut things a lot more slowly. Have what they call an average shot length that's a lot longer. Like you wait 4 seconds before cutting instead of like half a second. But the reason they might cut so quickly is to maintain the attention of the 8-year-olds watching it. Which, I can't disassociate myself from, to be honest, mate, because I watched John Wick and very much didn't enjoy it because it's actually quite slowly cut, and I didn't find it engaging at all.
Yeah, I remember I did start watching John Wick once, but it just seems a bit weird and pointless to me. Like he's shooting a button for no power.
So John Wick has a lot longer of what they call an average shot length, and the action's a lot more open. It doesn't cut through different angles of what's going on, and so then that, for me, I found quite boring. But for some people, they're like, well, this is a much higher class of film than something that cuts every half second to try and keep people's attention.
Okay. Mate.
Yeah.
Have you heard of PewDiePie's new game? To change the subject.
Yeah, just a little bit, mate.
Have you heard of it, mate?
I assume it's not the one that we all played a long time ago, where you be a YouTuber with loads of cats and lamps and things.
No.
Then I haven't. No.
It's called PewDiePie's Pixelings.
Could I briefly address the chat, mate? Because they think I'm not listening to them. I am listening to you, but most people are just sort of saying hello to each other. That's something I can't really respond to. So I am reading the chat, just to let you know. Right, carry on, mate.
I saw someone ask, mate, did you get every single treasure from Cats 1, 2 and 3?
Did I? What, sorry, mate?
Someone asked, did you get every single treasure from...
Every single treasure from what, mate?
Empire of Cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, the only ones I haven't got treasure for are the levels that I haven't done yet. Treasure is important, kids. Treasure is very important.
Yeah, so PewDiePie's Pixelings is pretty cool, mate.
Alright, mate. What's it about?
You put your pixelings on the battle when they fight against the enemy ones. And you swap them around strategically and stuff.
Right.
And there's a campaign mode which is pretty cool. I just finished the first world. There's 4 worlds at the moment.
Okay.
And there's also you can play against other players. There's only unranked at the moment. It says ranked is coming soon.
Okay.
So yeah. It's a bit pay to win. The progression sort of reminds me a bit of Clash Royale.
Okay.
Where you're opening chests. But the nice thing is, mate.
Yeah.
As you level up, you can open multiple chests at a time. So I think when you get to level 6, you can open 2 chests at a time.
Oh, well, that's good.
I'm level 9 at the moment, so yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good news, mate.
Yeah. And also you can watch ads to take 4 hours off the timer. But there's a limited number of ads, of course.
Alright.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's quests, daily quests. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad you enjoy that, mate.
In fact, there's guilds, mate. We could make a Reddit guild. No plan A.
Brilliant, mate.
We need a no plan A guild, mate.
I mean, here I am regretting that I actually, won the referendum to keep the server in my hands, because now I can't do anything on it because I'm working all the time. And you're like, right, here's another game. Let's make a guild.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, mate. You don't have to do any sort of adminning if you don't want to. I could.
You could do it, mate. I'd be happy for you to make a no plan A if you like.
Sure. You know what? I'll make myself a guild and I'll
share it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be called No Plan A. I'm making it right now.
Yeah? Alright then. Mate's going to make a no plan A.
Oh, what does your guild stand for?
What, like,
Guild decree.
ideology?
Yeah, it says Guild Decree. And it's like, what does your guild stand for? Max 60k.
Okay, kindness, politeness, and democracy. How about that?
Cool. We don't care about your trophies. No. Kindness, politeness, and democracy.
Cracking.
Cool, okay. Open, yeah, I'll make it open for now. It costs $150, mate.
Is that a lot or not a lot?
I had 525, so I mean it's a bit, but not that much. Okay, everyone who plays PewDiePie's Pixlings, join No Plan A Guild.
Brilliant. The empire extends slightly, courtesy of mate.
Yep.
Can you share links to that in the chat?
No, mate, I can only...
Well, you could tell people about it in the chat.
Yeah, I might, just in case people can't quite hear me.
Yeah.
Cool, okay. So far no one's joined, but that's fine.
Cracking. Well, not cracking that nobody's joined, but that'll be a bit lonely. Speaking of democracy, everyone,
Yeah.
let's have a decision made by thou. Shall I use another leadership and continue, or should I give up and go to bed?
What is leadership, mate?
Yeah, I know. Wait, what did I say?
You said, should I use another leadership?
Oh, right. I'm actually surprised by how ununanimous this actually is. Might have to count up the votes.
Well, anyway, you can get on with your battle cats, mate.
Oh, yeah.
But I've got a bit of a sad story for you, mate, just very quickly.
Yeah.
Because anyway, it doesn't matter, mate. Anyway, I kind of need to go right now, mate.
Oh, right. What was the sad story,
Hopefully
mate?
I'll talk to you another time, mate.
All right. Well, I hope the sad story wasn't too sad, mate.
No, mate, not really for me.
All right. Okay.
Maybe it was a bit of a shock.
Oh.
No, it's fine. Anyway,
Nice to speak to you, mate.
nice to speak to you, mate. Goodbye.
Bye, mate.
Bye, mate.
And that was the end of that. Mate was gone. Which is quite a one. It's not actually that late. I can continue if you want me to. But thank you for your consideration, being like, oh, I'll go to bed if you want to. But it's alright. It's not like really late this time. I can still speak to you in a projecty voice. So that's alright. I can be like, hello, 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 Mimi. Which is a reference to the Muppets. In any case, I can continue, and probably will. That's fine. I will continue. Do you hear Nightcore musics? I don't tend to listen to them much, but there is one that I listen to that is a bit of a bop, because it's just a bit mental, really. Bit of good fun, but no. I have 3 electro swing playlists, though, and they're good fun. And a sort of working playlist as well, and an editing playlist. In fact, I have loads of playlists. And double, in fact, seeming as I'm speaking about it, and I've taken the time to make them for myself, why don't I open up the possibility of you enjoying them as well if you want to? Wait for it. Aha. Right. Just check where that goes to. Make sure it's nothing spicy. We're all right. Right, okay. There is the link to my playlist. It's a document with links to my playlists within it. So it's got all of them in there, if you're interested anyway. If you just want some playlist inspiration or just some ready-made playlists, there's plenty there for you. Anyway. I will continue. Let's continue. Have you heard Human Leather Shoes for Crocodile Dandies? Weird song title, but yes, I have. It's a Caravan Palace song. It's quite enjoyable. Yes, I have that in my morning playlist, which is one that isn't in the link, but still, it's a nice sort of. Well, it's a sort of reserved song, an interesting one. Can't remember how it goes, but there we go. While we're on the subject of music, I heard someone saying earlier about can there be music put on? But, I mean, there is game sound coming through here, right? I thought that would satisfy people, but, you know, if it doesn't, let me know in answer to this question that I'm about to ask. Would you like there to be some atmospheric crinkles on at the same time as well? In the meantime, to asking that question, any tips for starting a YouTube channel? I want to write music. Well, I mean, crikey, writing music. I mean, you know, music I'm awful at. Just go for it. I mean, I'm afraid to say in a sort of, it's a bit sad, but just don't expect to get anywhere because YouTube's oversaturated and I only got anywhere because I was lucky. I'd suggest even saying don't listen to the people who say if you try hard you can make it anywhere, because that's just not true of YouTube. It's all about luck, unfortunately. But I mean, good on you for wanting to write music. That is really exciting. Just hopefully go for it. Send me a link to it in a comment section when you've made some music for it. I like me a bit of music. Do you like cello? I'm afraid, although actually no, proud to say I have no opinion on the cello, so I'll leave that to everybody else. You know, depends how it's used, really, isn't it? If it's used in a song I like, I like. If it's used in a song I don't like, I don't like. It's just the use of it in any given context, I guess. They're quite big, impressive things, though, I guess. I can say that. We've got a donation from Cave Kid, although, well, it might just be alliteration with a kid, differently spelt cave as a sort of gimmick, or Cave Kid. There's a sort of carve, maybe it's a different word. Whatever it is, in fact. $5. Cracking. Thank you very much. Love the content. I'm glad you do. I appreciate that. I love your donation and your politeness and kindness. Thank you. Sure thing. I don't know. Bonjour. Yay. Right. Not much of a response to that question then. Okay. I don't know what to say to that then. Well, there isn't much, you know, excitement around it, so I guess we just won't. Let's put a leadership on, though, and carry on. We've got 925 energy. Crikey. Let's go on to floor 20 and see what we can do. Hope that suits you financially. I mean, money tends to suit me financially. Money does you well financially, usually. But, you know, I wouldn't want to be financially in a good position at the expense of someone else becoming bankrupt. Don't make a political comment there, please. No, just don't do it. But thank you for your donation. Appreciate that. Have you done Duolingo? Done. Done. I mean, I've done everything German to level 1. Other than that, like, definitely not. I mean, I've been working on one skill to, like, level 2, and I'm struggling now. It's so nitpicky. Sometimes I miss out a letter, and it just makes me wrong. And they've got a new system that I don't like, with, like, hearts. For allowing you to get through challenges. There's a lot more emphasis on getting it all completely right. It's just a bit, But I mean, it might push me into actually being able to speak German properly, and definitely at least highlight the bits of German to me that I think could do with improving. And yes, you heard it correctly, I am trying to improve a language, because I just like improving things and making them a little bit better, because that's what it's all about. Piecemeal improvement, they call that. Gradualism is another word for it. So there we go. Spanish, I'm afraid, is a language that I won't be able to comunicado particularly well in, but that probably wasn't even Spanish itself, actually. But, you know, it's the sort of thing you can give a go, really, can't you? Hola, buenos nachos. They can be nice, especially with dips, because nachos is, of course, you know, not just like flipped round, not the whole thing, but the vowels. So there you go. That was a slightly pointless fact, but nonetheless a fact that I imparted to you. So I hope you enjoyed it. Is there any? You need to save leaderships. Crikey! I mean, you know, all like the items I'm saving, I'm now being told to save things. Well, I'm doing Heavenly Tower for you all. I'm going for it. I tried sending a donation, but I can't. No worries. I appreciate the gesture that you tried to make. That's very kind. Oh! Crikey. I don't know what to put here, honestly. I guess I'll put a warning to not bankrupt yourself, but otherwise, another $5 donation? Look at you! On fire, Carve Kid, or Cave Kid. I apologise if you've actually told me how to pronounce it properly and I haven't seen. Thank you very much for another $5 donation. Crikey, onto that. Right. I could probably do with another Cyberpunk. We'll do that. Because this Cyberpunk almost looks a little bit at risk with the state that things are in at the moment. Can I dissuade this lot from appearing any closer to me? I feel like I might be able to. It might be alright. Yeah, okay. Gotta go bye. Bye. Have a nice time wherever you be gone to, as it were. Yeah, so that's mainly the thing with that, really, isn't it? So that's just the case. I was just thinking about musics and things like that in the stream. I mean, one thing I could do for another stream, there's probably no point changing it now, because people watching, I don't know, will have been used to the way the sound's structured at the moment, is to, just for example, have the sound effects on, and then sort of ambient music in the background. And then we can support people like Crinkles a little bit more, you know, those underrated music artists, to be fair. And have something a little bit different from game music, I guess, but then you can also hear the sort of stuff that's going on in-game. I don't know if that people would like that or not. I guess we'll have to see with that sort of thing. But definitely having other sounds around is probably useful for when there are the sections of gaps and my silence and all of those things that don't contribute to such great content. I mean, I watch loads of things that air live or are recorded, what's known as live, basically recorded in a sort of live format and then broadcast later almost exactly as it was recorded. So I should really know from those things how to do a live stream well. Having other people there certainly helps, so I hope the section with Mate was helpful. And yeah, hopefully I'll just gradually improve. Or we could just listen to Evangelion soundtrack again, am I right? It's a great soundtrack, but you know, YouTube notices that I'm playing it, and although it's fine at the moment and monetization sort of goes to them, which I don't mind at all, if it suddenly becomes their policy that they're no longer, you know, sharing it with people and taking the revenue for it, then we're up the shtuck, really, as far as that's concerned. So I like to stay on the sort of absolutely right side of that. Salut, Regit. Ce qui est en place, pensez-vous, si vous serez une mesure de terminer ce niveau? Hi, Regit. I can't do the rest of it, I'm afraid. But, I gave it a go. Regit, do you have a Switch? I do not. But I have a Wii U, so that's all good and exciting. Still, cheeky Wii U is what it is all about. Floor 21 is next. And I feel like my nose is doing the thing where I get sniffly when I speak for a while on end. So what I'm going to do is seek to have a cup of tea or something like that. In the meantime, sort of get your questions ready for when I come back, I guess. McWoof might need to expand on what you mean by COPA YouTube thing, because I don't actually know. So I guess I can't feel anything about it at the moment, not knowing what it is, but maybe I do know what it is when phrased in a different way. For the moment, I will do that and that, which doesn't exist at the moment. Why doesn't it exist? Excuse me. Cup of tea break. Where are you, my file? Where are you? Cup of tea break.png. There it is. Okay. Right. I'll be back for that in hopefully a not long time. And it'll all be very exciting. But for now, I shall turn off me audio feeds and be back with you at that point in time. Tra. Flip. Hello. Right. Okay, let's get ourselves sorted. That one. That one. Gotcha. Right. Regit, what you saying, my G? Is that what WIS is? These acronyms, I keep forgetting what they are. Like, you know, things like ICYMI? I looked up what that was. I was like, alright. And then I forgot again. So, I mean, you know. Does he always take this long? It doesn't always. That was quite a long tea making. I was listening to The World at 1 while at 9:48. But there we go. It was interesting. There's a bit of politics in it. I love politics. Anyway. Also making my tea. At the same time, Brett, I wasn't just sitting there listening to World at 1. What's your opinion on America? Crikey. Let's not go, like, for the whole America shindig. If you want to ask a bit more specifically, perhaps, that one might be a bit better. Just because, you know, I don't like an impart our opinion on America as a whole, because, you know, you can't realistically justify saying, you know, this is America, like I'm Childish Gambino or something. I thought that's fairly decent reference, Regit. No, it's not. Who said that? No, everyone in chat. Right. How is your tea? Good question. Asked twice, actually. I'm glad you're so interested. Oh, it's not very nice, actually. No, it's not very nice at all, which is a bit disappointing, but there we go. When you think of America, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Oh, crikey. I feel like that is one that I should probably do my best not to answer unless everyone is kind of alright with me imparting a possibly negative view, because I know a lot of you actually are from America, so I will ask your opinion first, because I don't want to upset anyone, really. I mean, it's not like some stereotype sort of bigoted statement. It's just a little bit negative, that's all. In the meantime, loads of great questions. What do you think about Chawsey? Love Chawsey. Chawsey's great. What do you think about the battle between Pewds and T-Series? Part of me really doesn't care about it. Part of me thinks, well, it's brought a lot of attention to YouTube in a way. I think it's broke through into the news maybe once or twice. And inflated both of their subscriber numbers hugely, which, you know, if it makes the YouTube community bigger as a whole, I think that's a good thing. As for, like, the mechanisms within the battle, I prefer T-Series because they don't clickbait. Simple as that. But I'm not really particularly passionate on it, although I am on clickbait. Do you put sugar in your tea? I don't. No. I try to avoid sugar. My dentist told me to be fair. Right, okay. Honestly, I don't care. I'm alright. I am... Oh, you're alright? I hope that's what you mean anyway. LMAO, go ahead. I mean, it's not so much an insult as just my view. Oh, I didn't say T-Series had good content. I'm talking about how they market their content, each of them, because I don't watch either of them. I'm not interested in either of them. This is the surface appearance on how they're either reasonably or otherwise marketing their videos to people. Anyway, America, the first thing I think of when I think of America is... Oh, crikey. I just probably shouldn't. Being offended and then being shot, basically. No, sorry. Being offended, being in debt, being shot, would be my three things. And the reason I say, is this buffer-tastic? The reason I say those three things is that being offended, so that is the First Amendment, which I think is a worrying thing. It allows for free speech in every way, and I genuinely will fully admit I don't think that is a good thing. I think that all it means is that you are allowed to spread hatred against other people, individuals and groups, and be incredibly nasty, and then use the First Amendment to say, oh, I'm alright, I can do that because of my First Amendment rights to free speech. Sorry, but what is the right to free speech, really, except for the right to cause people upset? I don't think that's big or clever or a good thing, even remotely. Oh, hang on, I think I know what the copper thing is. It's the child thing. Oh, I do not understand that for the life of me. I'm worried because I got no clue what this is all about or what the best thing is to choose. Anyway, the second thing. In debt. In the UK, you have a lot of politicians who say, going through university gives you a lifetime of debt. This is not true. Our university tuition loan system is, if I may blow the trumpet of it, a brilliant idea. Not maintenance grants for living, though. They're awful. This is purely about tuition. So how it works in the UK is that you apply for a student loan for, well, it's about 27,000 pounds. And if you earn less than £25,000 a year, which is a sort of average wage, but I'm earning, I don't know, say like less than a fifth of that from YouTube. You don't have to pay any of that loan back. The threshold for where you start repaying your tuition loan is earning £25,000 a year. So if you are poor, you will not have debt hanging over you. You will simply never have to pay for it, and after 30 years, your debt gets written off. Your university tuition was free. If you earn £25,000 a year or more, you pay steadily increasing amounts. It is 9% of any amount of money you earn over £25,000, I think. And there might be a maximum. I don't know the ins and outs of what you actually pay once you earn that much. But it doesn't ever get above a huge amount, and you pay more the richer you are. That's a concept called progressive taxation, and I think it's a brilliant idea because basically, if you earn more and have more, you are able to pay more, and so you do pay more, right? So I am in a position where, you know, if I keep on earning roughly this amount, or even actually a whole lot more than this amount, I will never have to pay any of my tuition loan back. And I think that's a brilliant system. I am actually against abolishing tuition fees because all that does is keeps it free for the people who had it free anyway, and makes it free for the people who could have paid for it and save the government some money. I think it is a bad idea to just make tuition fees free. Making maintenance grants free, the money that you get for living in university, if that was made free, that would be highly useful because actually living in accommodation while you're at university is difficult and you do have to pay for it because you only get a grant towards how much it costs. It's not a loan of all that it costs. But the tuition itself, absolutely free if you're poor, which I am. And again, if you earn enough, you will easily be able to pay it. Why am I referencing this? Well, to the best of my knowledge, and every time I reference this, American people agree that it is true, in America, it's like a sort of normal kind of loan shark loan, right? It's a loan that you take out to spend thousands, tens of thousands, right? On college, it is in America, isn't it? And you do have to pay that back, regardless of who you are. You do have that debt hanging over you. And I think, I'm sorry, right? But I think that is barbaric. I think that is truly awful. I mean, if I was in America, I wouldn't go near college, but then I hear that you need to go to it to progress in a career well, and it's just, I feel so sorry for you. It sounds like such a terrible, terrible system. Having to actually pay all that money back, you are genuinely saddled with that debt. It makes me upset, and I am thousands of miles away from you. I feel genuinely sorry for you. And get shot? Well, the Second Amendment. Right to bear arms. I personally believe it's completely unfit for purpose. It's mutually assured destruction. Oh, I have a gun to protect myself. Well, you know, if other people didn't have guns, you wouldn't need a gun to protect yourself. If everybody got rid of their guns, there wouldn't be so many mass shootings and killing of several people each day with guns. Please stop having guns. I will admit, we have a bit of a knife crime problem. That could do with sorting out. But guns? You know, guns aren't like a cooking utensil, right? There are better ways of doing cooking utensils than knives, admittedly, but you don't need guns for anything, actually, that you couldn't... Well, no, there's no, useful non-violent task that you need a gun for. In my opinion, just get rid of them. So that is, I am afraid, what I think of when I think of America. Get offended, get in debt, get shot. And I am sorry that was so negative, but that is what I think. And we've got another $5 donation from Cavi Kid. Reggae for President. Thank you very much. That is very kind. I'll decline the offer, but I appreciate that. I've at least made my view certainly clear anyway. I completely agree. Oh, I appreciate that. No need to apologise, it's all essentially true. Cave. Right, thank you, Cave Kid. I will remember that, or try to, rather than like making you sort of Mediterranean Carve Kid. Right. Sorry for slurping. Right. It's time for floor 21, my dudes. Let's get the strategy notes up. Okay, right. Yes, okay. Let's go. Are we on slow cannon? Slow cannon. Okay. Now we are sorted. Excellent. What's your opinion on ScoMo? Can't say I know what that is. What is your thought about drugs? Oh my goodness, mate. Honestly, I'm sorry, but this is like the best political opinions stream like ever. Do you want me to divulge my opinion on drugs, if I may? Is that all right with you all? I feel like I'm sort of slightly messing up this strategy. I don't know. Hang on. Jewel razors. 3 times ICAT. Oh, right. Okay. Yes, and we're saving up for Cyberpunk, of course. Yeah, I wondered why we... okay. Right, we got them. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. Right, I'm just going to pause that. Okay. Sure, okay. Sure, why not? Please do, go ahead. Yes. Can you have live streams in the future just discussing controversial topics? I mean, I love doing these little chats within streams, all said. So, right, I'm going to reload this page because, I'm sorry, but it's buffering my end, and that concerns me, even if the stream is running fine for you all. I'd like to see it running fine for myself as well. Again, sorry for slurping. Bad manners. Heckin' podcast or heck. Heckin' podcast or heck. Right. Okay, so I will start this section of the discussion by saying very much that I am not myself interested in taking drugs. Now, I love alcohol, as you might well know, because I was just having wine at the start of this stream. But drugs, illegal or not, don't tempt me. Just not my kind of thing, and probably won't be my kind of thing. I'd like you to know that, because so that you know this is not the motivation for my opinion on drugs. I would decriminalise all drugs, make them all able to be bought safely, as far as drugs can be safe, i.e. not cut with like toxic materials, more than the drugs themselves, like, you know, cleaning powder or whatever, and taxed fairly heavily by the government, who can then earn a shed load of money from people making the choice to buy drugs for themselves. And then the government equally are not spending money on a war against drugs, which just drives the drugs trade elsewhere into a place that can't be taxed or got revenue from. Now, this is principally... Oh, Salty Scythe, hello! One of me thumbnailers. I briefly screenshot that boy. Excellent. Thank you for that, Salty Scythe, very kind. So... flipping flop, what was I saying? Tax, lots of lovely tax. Yes, that's what it was. So this whole thing is based on an idea that a philosopher called J.S. Mill came up with. He was a political philosopher. Oh, Scott Morrison, I see, right, okay. Can't express an opinion. I mean, I'm not in Australia and I don't follow... I don't tend to follow American politics. It just comes up on Newsnight now and then, and Australian politics far less. So I can't express an opinion. My thinking comes down principally to the thinking of J.S. Mill, political philosopher, and he said about there are two different types of actions that you can take. There are self-regarding actions and other-regarding actions. A self-regarding action is something you do that affects only you. It's something you do and it's only your business because only you do it, and neither the government nor other people have any right to tell you what to do with it. That, in my point of view, largely, especially with sort of less damaging recreational drugs, is what drugs should be about. People making that choice to buy something that is taxed and relatively safe for their own personal enjoyment. I mean, everyone in university smokes weed anyway. Imagine if we got tax revenue from it, for example. Which actually, quite positively, the Liberal Democrats and SNP and I think Plaid Cymru want to do in this general election. So we're sort of moving towards it. Anyway, brief aside, Cave Kid again, with another donation. Thank you so much for all of this. I should probably pause that before I get decimated. For the alcohol fund, last donor of the night, but I'll stick around. Cheers. That's very kind. Thank you. I mean, I'll put it into a savings account, and we'll sort of work towards, a bit of alcohol when it's on offer and cheap, but definitely thank you very much for that. I've got plenty of alcohol. I should probably stop buying it now. In any case, that is my point of view, that it is completely up to the person and they should be able to have that thing rather than just buying it from a drug dealer anyway and the government seeing no money out of it and instead spending money on trying to stop people having drugs. Because people often bring up the point that if alcohol was invented now, it wouldn't be allowed because it's actually probably worse for you than weed is, for example. So I would decriminalise all drugs, make them all available to some extent, and tax them so that the government could make money out of it. That is my point of view on drugs. I wouldn't allow any of them to be illegal because it is a self-regarding action, having drugs, in my view. Now, even better than a political discussion, possibly, is someone with a Misato profile picture. Twice! Waylay, amazing stuff that I am seeing right here in front of me. 2 times $4.90. Oh my good God, 3 times. Okay. Wow. Wowie crikey. That is just quite extraordinary. Amazing, Waylay, thank you. We got throwing money at you, $4.99. Throwing more money at you, $4.99. Throwing even more money at you, $4.99. Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. The competition for top donator is heating up. Amazing. Wish I could sell my mum's credit card? Don't. Because not only will I then get an angry message from your mum, but that is dishonest. And that is an other regarding action, to go back to what I was just talking about to try and explain it better. You are affecting someone else by your action. You are stealing their money. Also consider, would you like to have your money stolen? No, so don't steal someone else's money. I appreciate that could have been completely ironic, but it helps to illustrate my point anyway. So that's self and other regarding actions. It's a really nice, I think relatively simple, just really nice philosophical concept. I can't drink this tea without slurping. It's awful. Relatable to that poor student life. My money can't be stolen because I have no money. Yes. Yes. What do the kids say? They say like represent or something like that. That's what I'm going to say to that. Do you believe in climate change? Yes. Yes. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't know what climate deniers base their climate denial on. I think it's that we've been through phases of heating and cooling before, and this might just be the same thing again, which it could be. You can't tell climate deniers that they're wrong. It's just the balance of expert opinion is that there is climate change. But then again, experts have been wrong before. But my personal point of view is that you might as well believe in climate change, because if we revolutionise industry to be renewable, regardless of climate change or not, we're still then going to have renewable industry, and the stuff we use, like the sun and tidal power, isn't going to run out, which surely makes a lot more sense than sticking your head in the sand and still using coal-fired power stations. So, regardless of climate change, which I think is real, being real or not, I think the efforts to tackle climate change are helpful nonetheless. So there we go. That's my point of view. I'm all, as you probably know, I'm all about recycling all of the time. I love a bit of that. Also, from a price point of view, and thus from an environment helping secondary point of view, I eat very little meat these days. So there you go. Those are my contributions. Salut, Regit. Avez-vous un bon appartement/maison? Mon student accommodation est bon. Merci, monsieur. I hope that was some palatable French. At least I understood what that was. That was asking me, do I live somewhere nice? And my student accommodation is very nice, actually. Very expensive. Good job my parents helped me with that. And that is the sort of the bad side of UK tuition stuff. Is the maintenance grant, the living, which doesn't go nearly enough often towards actually paying for living as a student. But where I am is nice, yes. It's a good location. Good digs, as I believe the kids say. So, yes. Bon appetit and all of that. You can tell I'm not great at French. Can you tell? Can you tell? Yeah. I think we can tell. Yeah. My throat's starting to hurt, which is concerning. And I'm starting to lose, which is also concerning. And I can't do anything about it because there's no continues. So let's hope that Ultralan has saved us there. And we can move on and be successful. What do you think about Greta Thunberg, the climate activist? You see, this is another brilliant political thing. I love Greta. She's great, to be fair. You know why I think she's great? because she hasn't gone about destroying people's daily lives. She has just had a strike from her lessons für Klimatet, right? Which is brilliant, raising awareness. She's really raised awareness, and she's done it in a really nice sort of peaceable way. I think she is the sort of the very positive yin to the absolutely atrocious, in my view, yang of people like Extinction Rebellion, who I think are dreadful, dreadful action takers. I'm not going to say people, because it's just the actions they take that are dreadful. And just disrupting daily life and annoying people and alienating them. And yes, in my view, Extinction Rebellion are terrorists, because they are, quite simply, as the definition of terrorism goes, causing disruption for a political gain. That is exactly what Extinction Rebellion are doing, which is why I find them quite deplorable, to be honest. But I like Greta Thunberg. Peaceful activism, and look, I like to think she is the one who's actually got us to think about the environment a lot more, and good for her. So those, I think, is an important distinction between the two. Because if you think what Extinction Rebellion are doing is alright, then by that logic you have to think it's alright when the next group who claim, oh, I'm disrupting people because I believe my cause justifies it, disrupts people. And then that could be any cause that does that. And that is why we don't think terrorism is a good thing, because it is people using force to force people to go along with what they think. And we accept Extinction Rebellion in some sense because they're doing it for the environment. It's still not okay. They are still breaking laws and alienating people and disrupting their lives. That is still terrorism. I think she is kind of extremist. In what sense? I mean, I haven't listened very intently to what she's been saying, just listened when she's been talked about on the news and things like that. Oh, crikey, there's so many political topics. I feel like I want to spread them out, you know. Can we spread them out? Auntie, could you remember your question for another time? Because I would rephrase your question in my answer slightly, but I would definitely be up for answering that in another stream. Because I don't want this one to exhaust me of all my voice and my answers and then there'll be nothing to talk about in another one. Because hopefully I'll be able to do another stream tomorrow. She judges in an extreme way. I mean, I can't really... I can't express an opinion on that, because as I said, I haven't been listening intently to what she's been saying. I was just using the example of what she did as a peaceful action, as opposed to Extinction Rebellion, which is not. Do you want to be president? No, but I did enjoy the Netflix series The Politician, which was good and enjoyable. So I guess there's that. Right, floor 23. Oh, okay. That's quite simple. I mean, I guess that's the idea of it. All I'm doing is changing that to that. Cracking. Let's carry on. I don't think I'm going to do any more leaderships after this, but that'll do. Do you know about the situation in Croatia right now? I'm afraid I don't. At the risk of sounding uneducated, the last time I heard about Croatia was when they beat us in the World Cup. So I'm afraid I do not. I do not know. Feel free to educate me though, you know. Reggie, are you a socialist? I don't think I am, personally, because I am more about individuals working together, and socialism is more about the idea of collectivity, or collective humanity, the idea that we are like a people instead of a group of persons or individuals. And I think when you group people together into sort of meshes and groups, it never ends well at all. So in that basic distinction between individualism or liberalism and socialism, I would not agree with socialism. Now, that isn't from an economic point of view, because I have quite a lot of sympathy for sort of very progressive taxation, i.e. people who are incredibly rich get incredibly taxed. I agree with that. Reggae, have you visited Singapore? I have not, but I've seen it a few times for the Singapore Grand Prix. Not, obviously in person, but on the old vision. Have you read Animal Farm /1984? I've read the first chapter of 1984, and I've seen a television adaptation of 1984, well, the first half of it. So in Croatia, teachers wanted a bigger paycheck, but the government didn't give it to them, and now they don't want to work, so you don't have school for about 2 weeks now. Oh, no, I might have actually heard about that, but just not in great detail, not enough to reliably talk about. Oh, I don't know what your point of view on that is, so I guess I just won't express an opinion. It's just not something I know enough about to express an opinion on, really. That of which I cannot speak, I must remain silent. A great quote from a chap called Wittgenstein. Basically, if you don't know about it, don't talk about it. Do you watch Harry Potter? Not massively. I mean, I've seen a little bit here and there. Just not, not massively. Have you ever thought about going to New Zealand? Can't say I like travelling at all, I'm afraid. But I don't have any opinion against New Zealand. What about religion? Do you have an opinion on it? Certainly. Can you leave that question for another stream, like I've done with the other question, and I'll talk about it at length. Although my summative opinion is that people disrespect religion far too much these days, and it's quite sad. But I can talk about that more when we have a thing. Oh, Reggie, what is your favourite film? Oh, I'm sorry to be a tease, but can we save that question for another stream as well? Because I should compile a list of my favourite films, and I plan to do that, and then I can talk about some of them. Because I don't know if I have an absolute favourite, but I have a few favourites that I can talk about, and why I like them, and all sorts of good fun things like that. Is uni life good? I'm slowly getting into a groove. I realised, and I'm a bit embarrassed that I didn't realise this earlier, that if I work really hard during the week and then work on videos during the weekend, maybe I can get stuff out a little bit more regularly. So that's what I'm working on doing now. I know for a fact that it's going to get harder and harder to do video stuff the further on I get into university, so I'm desperately trying to get my timetabling right now so I can at least get something out to you before I have absolutely no chance of showing you anything anymore. But yes, it's better than I thought it would be, and yeah, it's perfectly fine at the moment, but who knows, there's plenty of obstacles to run into. Who knows from where they will come and if they will be obstacles, or if things that weren't going to be obstacles do become huge great barriers that I crash into and have issues with. But when there are issues, I complain. Always complain. I say complain in a way that you would be happy to be complained to yourself, i.e. be polite to people, but don't let that stop you from complaining about what you think you've been wronged for. I complain all the time. I find it quite liberating. Not because I'm rude to people, but because I'm, trying to put these things right. Do you think university will work for you? Will it be a waste of time? It'll be a waste of time if I drop out. Otherwise, if I get the degree done, I will get, hopefully anyway, what I set out to achieve from the degree, and then I'll be able to continue on, provided there is a suitable postgraduate loan, to be able to carry on and have enough money to just continue my studies before having to get what people call a real job. Or, YouTube, who knows. But yeah. Why did you start YouTube? Cracking question. I feel like that's one that I want to do a sort of a video about at some point. I'm afraid I can't really put a date to that. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to put that into the sort of aether of unconfirmedness. Hello, DJ. That reminds me, I should probably listen to a Caravan Palace song because I still haven't been through them all. And it might be quite fun to do that, actually. I'm going to draw a line for questions here so that we have something to talk about in the next stream. But feel free to remember them, like Inga, for example, remember yours and things like that. And what are you studying? That's another good one. I can talk a little bit about the course as well because I talked earlier about something on the course, but I can talk more widely about it. Not so widely, find out too much about it, but a bit more widely. So, yeah, we'll be able to talk more about those other things in those other times. I hope you have found this stream to be, a bit more professional than the other ones before, a bit more sort of often speaky, because my throat really hurts now, and I'm flagging, but I feel like I've spoken decently chunkily, which is a really bad way to describe it, but, for most of it, rather than having huge gaps in what I say. So I hope that's come across. I hope it sounded a bit more professional. Archivers, or you lot here now who will be archivers, if you think about your opinion on having music in addition to the game sounds, let me know in the comments of the archive. And what I'll do is I will finish off floor 24 as I listen to another Caravan Palace song, I think. So what I'm going to do is get this stuff sorted and ready. Can I discuss politically with someone I admire? That's brilliant. I love that phrasing and that kindness in that. Thank you. I love discussing political things as well. It's great fun. I think that is the peak, not in a sense of how the kids say it, meaning like bad, but like peak as in good, like the peak, the summit, you've reached the top kind of thing. The peak of wonderfulness of discussion is like in-depth, but polite and kind and interested political discussions like this. How often do you make videos now? I've been a long time subscriber, just come back for your channel again. I apologise, now's the time you come back because I'm at university and I can't make stuff that often, but it's going to be at least every 2 weeks I'm aiming for, and at least every 2 weeks there'll be streams like this as well. But while I'm at university I can't make videos often, nor can I definitely can't stream while I'm physically there. I have to go home for that, which is where I am now. Hello. But yeah, that's the case with that one. Tea with honey, yeah. To be fair, might have honey here actually. That might be good for streaming throat stuff. But I have been talking decently, chunkily, I hope you would agree. Still calling it chunkily. For 2 hours, so. Ooh. Mate's done some of the talking. He's shown me his, what was it, double integration? Crikey, what's that all about? Bit complicated. In any case, what type of tea are you having? The one I most recently had was supposed to be an Earl Grey. Didn't taste like it. Tasted a bit rubbish, really. But it was tea anyway, that'll do. Tea'll do when you need your tea, as it were. So let's go to Caravan Palace and just listen to a song. Turn the volume down so I don't get copyrighted. I'll just have it to my ear. I guess the next one to listen to is Lena. This is the next one that I haven't heard so far. So let's give it a go. Sounds a bit like a pop song. Like those trap remixes of things. I mean, with a bit of the old Caravan Palace saxophone in it, which is very welcome. Got a beat to it. I have actually seen Kurt's Gesagt videos. I did see the one about European Union, actually. I mean, I'm not sure it helped massively because we did study it in politics, but yeah, I know what you're referencing anyway. Not particularly enthralled by this lyrical section here. Just a bit dud dud dud. I mean, it is very kind of, like Trap Nation, which I'm not sure suits Caravan Palace very well. But I mean, stuff like Plume has really grown on me. So I don't know. I can sometimes relate to you. Appreciate that. Glad for that. Glad you can relate. Probably hide the battle cats from here in case people think I'm actually going to be playing more of it, which ain't true, Chief. I'm back. What I miss? I'm afraid most of the stream we're about to end it just after I finish listening to this song. Is this it, or is there going to be another drop? Another drop. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not particularly enthralled by it. I think I'm going to put it in my C list for now, because I do have 3 electro swing playlists. Of course I do. That should probably still be on copy and paste while I'm talking about it. Yeah, this is a link to a document with all of my music playlists linked inside it. It's a Google Doc. Just how I do everything these days, to be fair. Good old Google Drive. Imagine how slow and complicated my life would be just using like Word on one computer and I don't know, emailing it to myself. And that's it as it fades out? Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I've got to say, I'm afraid that I was a little bit uninspired by that, but I was uninspired by Plume, and I quite like it now. So I don't know, but I don't think it was a massively great one. I didn't think it suited Caravan Palace very well, but they're experimenting. They do that. So that was that. What song was that? That was Lena by Caravan Palace from their new album, Chronologic, which I am still listening through. I think I've got 1 or 2 more new songs before it's all listened to. Spreading it out, because it's going to be a long time before they release anything new, because music takes a long time to be made. So I'm sort of appreciating that. You have a very elegant way of organising your music. Oh, that's very kind. I appreciate that. I appreciate the heck out of that. Right, as the maths ended, so's the stream, I'm afraid, Huskers. But there we go. So I guess I shall be away now. I should probably tell Huskers that I almost understood what mate was saying, so there was a sort of happy end to that story. In any case, I shall be off now. We've had a big old stream, and so we'll end off our big old stream that was highly enjoyable. Thank you for all the political topics. I love talking about this stuff with you. And again, if you didn't want to say in the chat that you were actually a little bit offended by how much I dislike American culture in truth, I apologise. I just wanted to be honest because I asked and people said they were largely or almost completely alright with me being so and agreed with my views on well, just sort of the brashness and dangerousness of the culture, in my personal opinion. Anyway, people agreed on that, but it could be seen as controversial. Let's be less controversial as we wish each other, to end off the stream, a lovely happy day, lovely happy night, and lovely happy waiting for the next stream, because hopefully I will get one more done before I go back and can't stream for might be even longer this time round. I might try and let you know. In any case, that will be it. I will be off. So, ta-ra to you all, and it'll be a goodbye and a good night from chez moi.